What's going on, world? It's your boy Tripple Rich, and I'm back like a shoulder blade. Can you dig it? We're gonna talk about a special shoe today, but before we get into that, big shout out to all my Kick Talk subscribers out there. You guys motivate me to keep going. So let's get into it. We're gonna talk about the Air More Uptempo today. That's why I had to put the Bulls jersey on for you. So without further ado, let's go! Air More Uptempo. We're going to break this shoe down into three parts. First, the design. Second, the pop culture moments. And then we're going to talk about where the shoe is at today. And then I might just sprinkle in some personal experiences along the way. So first, the design. Originally, the shoe came out in 1996 and was created by Wilson Smith. He wanted to create a shoe that embodied the 90s, the big, bold, loud form of the 90s, as well as he wanted to put some art into it. So he says he pulls his inspiration from graffiti as well as pop art. That's why you have these big letters that are in your face that you can't miss. An interesting thing about the name of the shoe, Uptempo, Air More Uptempo, is the word Uptempo is a code name that Nike used to classify its basketball sneakers. During the 90s, Nike basketball was at its height of design, and this is how they broke it down. For quick, agile guards, they made shoes called Flight. For mid-sized players who were a little bit of guard and a little bit of big man, they named that the Uptempo. And for bigger players, the shoe would have the name Force in it. Scottie Pippen was literally a guard in a big man's body. He was about 6'9", 6'10", but he was doing all these quick guard things. So the Uptempo fits him perfectly. In 1996, the Bulls had the best NBA record the NBA had ever seen. They went 72-10. Obviously, you had Michael Jordan on the team wearing some awesome shoes, but the other players, including Scottie Pippen, had some heat on their feet as well. So a lot of people know Scottie Pippen for wearing these shoes because that was the best Bulls championship of all time. Following that, in the summer, he kept the winning ways up. They went to the Dream Team, which was the U.S. Olympic team, and they won gold. During that time, most NBA players who had signature shoes or contracts with a company were getting signature colors to match the Olympic jerseys. And Scottie Pippen got this amazing colorway that was all white with navy letters. This one and the Olympic one, I would say, are the OG colors and the best known. They've come out with over 100 colors since then, but that's why this shoe is famous. This shoe is known for some crazy pop culture moments, and one of my favorite has to be the George of the Jungle movie. It came out in 1997. It was a box office smash. Does anyone remember that, or am I getting old? Anyway, in that scene, George laces up these shoes, like they come fresh out the box, he laces them up, and he runs into the jungle, and it's just an amazing scene. Another thing I remember is, and please comment below so I know I'm not alone, MTV, yeah, that used to be a thing. They had a sports, almost like a basketball celebrity game called Rock and Jock Slam or something like that. And I remember Aaliyah, rest in peace, she had an all-white pair with like a navy blue bubble. It's an awesome colorway that really hasn't retro too much, but I know people are still looking for it. Please tell me somebody remembers that. Comment below. Now let's get into the relevancy and the current events of this shoe. Because this iconic design was so ahead of its time, this shoe is still relevant today. We're going to work backwards here, but most recently, Ambush, a popular Asian streetwear company, just put out a version of this in a low cut. And it did really well. I really like the black low cut because it had the OG color. They also did some other loud designs like a mustard yellow and like green with lilac purple. A lot more expressive, but I like that they stayed true to these colors when they did. I also recently got some Uptempo slippers. This is how far this design has gone, that they could even turn it into a slipper, and these are super comfy. They're on Nike right now. I definitely recommend it because I think they're on sale for like 50, 60 bucks. It's a good buy. Because the shoe is so iconic, they actually made a tribute version for Wilson Smith himself. And instead of it saying Air, it has the letters WIL on one side and SON on the other side. And they're called the Thank You Wilsons. Besides that, there was also in the 90s that came out about the same time a more, I guess you would say, pared down version. And instead of being called the Air More Uptempo, it was called the Air Much Uptempo. And what was the difference basically was they still had the lettering, but there was only one bubble at the heel. Gary Payton wore these actually alongside Scottie Pippen during the Olympics. So you really got a chance to see the difference of the shoe. I thought it was so cool. I actually wanted both growing up, but I love the more bubbles the better. So this is a shoe. This is a shoe that you can't forget about. So besides them doing the recent Ambush collab and turning the shoe into a slipper, some other big moments. Odell Beckham Jr. turned this shoe into a football cleat. And he wore it in so many colors, it still blows my mind today that someone was creative enough to put those two things together. I would say the biggest moment for this shoe in recent history is 2017. Do you remember the Sup Tempos? That's when Supreme did a release of this shoe. And instead of Air, it said Sup. And they did it in a red and white, which I think was the best color. They also did it in an all black that had like 3M that, glared right back at you. And then the most loud, ostentatious one was gold and white. That was a big moment for the shoe. I thought it just brought the shoe back, and it was about the 20-year anniversary of the shoe. So it just made everyone get a blast from the past. The More Uptempos have always meant a lot to me. Honestly, since I believe it was 1997, which was the year after the shoe came out, I had to go to summer camp. And there was this bad kid who just always got in trouble, and he had a pair of these on. Actually, if I remember correctly, it was black with neon bubbles. And I always wanted them. I was like, I didn't want to be like that kid, but I wanted his shoes. And I couldn't find the color. I would look for it. And it wasn't until I graduated college, moved to Brooklyn, and I found them on eBay. And I had to get them, and I felt so cool. I would actually wear them to my job at the time, which was Flight Club. And I remember at Flight Club, because I was a sneaker authenticator, I actually got to see the Supreme Uptempos before anybody else. So I saw the hype growing on the internet, and then to have it in my hand before it was actually released was such a special time. Those are some of my personal stories. As far as my personal opinion about the shoe, I would say when you look down at it, it's a bit chunky, so that might take a little bit of getting used to. And I also feel like if you do have a sweaty foot, you should probably wear thick socks because it does get a little hot in here. But besides that, it is a really comfortable shoe that you can probably wear for at least 4 or 5 hours. And I would definitely recommend it. If you are going to get this shoe, don't be afraid to go up half a size. Usually I wear 10, but these are 10 and a half and they fit me fine. So, just dropping some gems and some game on you, just so you know what shoe you're wearing when you're wearing it. In the meantime, I'm going to keep getting better. I know you will. And I'll see you later. It's been Kick Talk. It's been another volume. Thank you. Sneakers is